So when we talk about fiscal responsibility, and it's a term that the Republicans and the GOP here in Wisconsin use an awful lot, fiscal responsibility. What they mean, taxes. And that's all they talk about, property taxes, income taxes. So let me ask you a question. Would you rather make $83,700 with 52% taxes, $78,000 with 39% taxes, or $65,100 and 35% taxes? Quick. Here's the right answer. You don't have a clue. We don't know, because I'm not giving you enough information. But this is what they tend to focus on. Here's how fiscal responsibility should work. Yes, taxes are absolutely important. Income, absolutely important. And your expenses is absolutely important. And when I say expenses, what I'm talking about here are things associated with just life in general. So let's add into here healthcare. So now, if you're making $83,000 or $78,000 or $65,000, and here's your different tax rates, part of the question becomes, does this include your health insurance? Well, for most of us here in the United States, we're in a situation where we're contributing to our own health care. So here's the deal. This is actually Switzerland, 52%. But no additional expenses. It's going to include things like healthcare and childcare. What do you pay for your childcare? 78. This is Norway. So this turns out to be 47.5 that you're taking home, which is actually significantly more than the others. And again, now includes your healthcare, includes your childcare. This one, this is the United States. This is the average GDP per capita, roughly 35% taxes in Wisconsin with state taxes. And so here you're only taking home 42.3, but that doesn't include your expenses. How much are you paying for your health insurance? Let's say it's $400 a month. Now take off another $4,800. So asking this question and focusing solely on taxes doesn't give us a good answer, and it doesn't deal with actual true fiscal responsibility. We have to talk about income. We have to talk about the expense of living day to day. I want to focus in this one a little bit about income. We're going to go over and we're going to take a look at a whole bunch of numbers. But Scott Walker put out a post not too terribly long ago talking about Wisconsin and the growth that they've had. We've had in income since the Great Recession. And we had annual income growth of 1.4%, which sounds pretty good, right? We all know that since the Great Recession, we've all made more money. Unemployment has gone down, right? Salaries have generally gone up. And what he did is he compared it to Illinois, and all the numbers are totally legit. I'm not arguing with his numbers. So this was Wisconsin. And he said, Illinois has only been growing by 1.1% annually for their incomes. So Wisconsin is doing better. And by that measure, he's absolutely right. So here's what he didn't tell you. The US average income growth was 1.9% annually over that same time frame. So Wisconsin, in comparison to just the US average, was half a percentage point less. Now, half a percentage point doesn't sound like much, but we're talking over the course of 8 to 10 years. The difference in Wisconsin income is minus 6.5% in comparison to the rest of the country. I'm going to delve into a bunch of the numbers with you. We're going to look at the Midwest. We're going to look at states of similar composition to Wisconsin, so populations that are really similar. And what you're going to see is that Wisconsin under the GOP and under Scott Walker ranked 30th or lower in actual income growth. Yeah, we did better than Illinois. We beat the Bears. But we didn't do nearly as well as we possibly could have. And his argument was, we did better than Illinois because the Republicans were in control and the Democrats were in control down here. And let me tell you, that's not the truth. So we're going to take a look at the numbers, and I'm going to show you just how much money you lost because of Scott Walker and the Wisconsin GOP not taking all of this into consideration, but focusing only right here.
So it's not easy to be told something you believe in is wrong. We don't like it, and we fight against it. It's literally how our brains work. Consequently, if you're a conservative voter who believes in the fiscal responsibility of the Wisconsin GOP, Scott Walker, and Julian Bradley, here's what I'm going to ask you. Take notes, challenge the math, prove to yourself I am wrong, and tell us how. All right, so the report Walker referenced was based on this data from Pew Research, which is based on data from the Department of Labor. All the links and references are available. And as you can see, Wisconsin's annual income grew at 1.4%, and Illinois at 1.1%. But Iowa grew faster at 1.5%, Indiana at 1.8%, Minnesota at 1.9%. Even Michigan, with Detroit going through bankruptcy, had income growth on par with Wisconsin. And the U.S. average was 1.9%. But what does this mean in real life, 0.5% a year? Well, let me show you. So this sheet is actually the raw Pew data, and you can download it yourself. I'll put a link in the comments. And it has all the income growth for all of the states for the last 12 years. So here, for example, is Illinois, and from 2011 through 2019, it had 18.2% growth. The United States from 2011 through 2019, 26.9% was the average income growth. And if we look at Wisconsin all the way here, Wisconsin finished up at 20.3 as a total income growth from 2011 through 2019. And you can see some of the other states around. West Virginia did very poorly, Wyoming a little bit better than us, Virginia right on par, Washington almost 47% growth. But let's put these numbers into something that means something. Okay, here's the Wisconsin income growth versus the U.S. average growth, so that 1.4 to 1.9 that Walker mentioned. And it's set for a $35,000 income in 2007. With our growth, by 2019, you'd be making $41,300. But if the kids in control in Madison were just average, you'd have made $43,900, over $2,500 more. That's $200 a month, and that's a lot of money at that salary. That's a car payment. And over the course of Walker's fiscally responsible years, you'd have made $14,335 less than would some average Joe around the country. That's 4 months of income lost. How helpful would that have been over the last few months? Okay, I can hear you saying that it's an average across the whole country and it's got California and New York in there. And you're absolutely right. Things can definitely get skewed. So let's look at states with population close to Wisconsin and only during the Walker years. So we have almost 6 million people, and here's states within 2 million of our population. We did better than these 6. We did worse than these 9, which is in line with Wisconsin's actual ranking of 33rd in the country for income growth. Now, take a look at the states above and below, and I'll let you draw your own conclusions, but the top 3 states within 2 million people of our population, Oregon, Colorado, and Washington. So here's what's set up over here. 2010 income starting at $50,000, and this is Oregon's growth rate at 3.71%. In Wisconsin, you'd be making $58,800. In Oregon, for the same job, you'd be making almost $67,000. So $8,100 a year more, 13.8% increase in your salary. And the total difference is $34,000, almost 8 months worth of salaries. Now I'm going to put in Washington at 4.43. And it jumps to a 20% higher salary this year than you would have in Wisconsin. And $49,000 difference, almost a full year's worth of salary in comparison to that $50,000 starting salary. And it doesn't matter what your starting salary was. $100,000, you're still missing out on a full year's worth of salary. Now, I'm going to pull up one more thing for you, and this is something that's kind of cool to take a look at yourself. And this has all of the median household incomes for State Senate District 28, which is where we're at. So Franklin, 73,000, Hales Corners, 66, Greendale, 64, Greenfield, 52. This little section of Milwaukee, take a look, it's under $37,000. It's pretty dramatically different in comparison to, say, Muskego, where the median is $82,000, New Berlin at 77, Waukesha at almost 86,000, Vernon at 84, East Troy 78, the town of Waterford 85, the village of Waterford at 72, and here's Big Bend in here at 72 as well. So you can hop on here, take a look and see what the median would be, and imagine 5 to 20% more salary. What would your schools, your communities be like if everyone had had an extra 3 to 12 months of income, and if they were making 5 to 20% more than they are right now? That's how I define fiscal responsibility. More money in your pocket.
So folks, here's my point. When it comes to fiscal responsibility, we need to understand how these different things interact. Having less expenses is going to give you more income to take home. Will having less taxes? Perhaps. But greater taxes actually wind up increased government spending, which is part of GDP because that money goes for hiring new people and doing new projects, which increases our income. It's an investment. I know that it sounds counterintuitive, but I ask you to trust me on this one. Taxes is not the sole issue. We need to look at income, expenses, and taxes in order to look at an overall plan that's going to increase how much money you take home to spend.